and married to my baby's father, but that didn't work out. He was cheating on me, sadly.
Cheating on you?
Yes. I was kind of hurt at first, but you know, it's life. You gotta move on.
How many months pregnant are you?
I'm 6 months pregnant.
Wow. You seem very calm about it, aren't you at all nervous?
Yeah, I'm nervous in the inside. I'm freaking out, like, gee, how I'm gonna do this? Like, I'm only 20 years old.
Yeah, I'm nervous on the inside. I'm freaking out. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And this is a reoccurring statement that I'm hearing. I'm seeing it. I'm getting messages and emails about it left and right, especially from employees in the retail market, in the retail sector, hourly employees. And I'm also now getting more from small business owners too, as they are feeling the pain, they're feeling the nervousness, the fear setting in of what's going on with our economy and their business. But more importantly, the fact that many Americans don't have money in savings. And this is really despite what Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell may say or what he may think about Americans just being flushed with cash from stimulus checks and not wanting to go to work. And it's completely untrue. Now, at least I feel it's untrue. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments below. I'd love to go back and forth and have that debate. Now, I'm not going to go and share specifics of the emails and people's stories that they're sending me as they are explaining their circumstances and the ways in which they need help and are asking for help and guidance and assistance now, which is great. I'm glad that everybody's doing that to figure out, hey, what can I do now to better position myself and prepare my family to survive this? Because money's tight. The job market is crazy. The economy, inflation is taking over. Now, I receive emails from employees, Target, Walmart, Kroger, Publix, Aldi, Lidl, some working for automotive dealerships, car dealerships, and it's kind of all over the board. People are worried, people are scared. They don't have money, they don't have money in savings, they don't have credit, and they don't have a plan. They don't have a backup plan, they don't have a plan B. They don't have a solution to the problem that they're already facing, which is inflation and not the best employment situation, not the best employers, who are they really are taking advantage of the employees because they know they kind of got them where they want them. But regardless, the emails come through and I'm trying to respond to them as quickly as I can, but honestly, the fastest way to get me is through the group. And the group is where it's like an easy way to answer more questions at one time, since everybody has a way of seeing the posts. But also there's the private direct message option as well if you're interested in that. But it still comes down to, what am I going to do? I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm freaking out inside. And you guys may recall, I posted a video after having spoken to an employee that worked at Target, and they were expressing their concerns as this Target employee was recalling what they were seeing, the changes that they had been witnessing in the stores as an employee, the shopper, the consumer spending and buying habits changing, priorities, price drops as the store managers, the district managers, the regional managers are trying to push the inventory out, excess inventory that was pent up, and now they have oversupply of inventory, as all this backed up inventory from years ago that was sitting on the ports was finally processed and made it to the stores that they couldn't refuse, they couldn't turn back. And these stores are getting desperate. But at the same time, the employees are starting to feel, I think, and you guys let me know how you feel about this, but the employees are starting to maybe sense it too and feel it too, because I think for the most part, a lot of employees, they kind of show up, they do their job, they keep their head down, and they probably don't think too much about what's going on beyond what's my shift, what's my position, and am I going to get my paycheck? And that's pretty much it. But I think now the workforce is having a much more they're having more concern, and they're paying more attention to what's going on around them, especially in their store or where they work, in their city, in their town, in their state, but ultimately the country and the world, because it's never been so clear, especially let's think about like as a Target employee, it's never been so clear how important China and other countries' supply chain and political relationships matter to your ability to have a job to do, and the price of what your industry costs, and the willingness and capability of the consumer to engage and conduct business with the company that you work for. It's never been more clear of how important these things are, and how they can affect you in so many ways, even if it's not your store, even if it's not your inventory, even if it's the cost of gas or diesel, just fuel in general, the uncertainty in the markets, food prices, food availability, possible food shortages. All of these will have an impact on everyone else, and it's becoming more and more clear, and people are getting more conscious. They're becoming more conscious, and also realizing that no matter who they are, no matter who they work for, no matter how long they've been there, no matter how great of an employee they are, an asset, as you will, these companies don't care. The railroads, they don't care about these workers. Amazon, they don't care about their workers. There's so many companies out there that they don't care. Google, they got a hiring freeze. I think it was Google or Apple warned employees about layoffs, and right now it's about productivity and profit, and reducing overhead and operating expenses to sustain the companies, to sustain their profits. Because the CEOs, the presidents, the CEOs, the big wigs up top, they're going to continue to make their money. They're not going to lose. So if anybody's going to take a cut, it's going to be people lower on the pole, or it's going to be the consumers, the customers, which says a lot about the companies, because the consumers and the customers are the lifeblood of the company, really. Because without them, you can't just print the money. You got to have people who want to come buy from you. But this is a growing concern. I'm seeing it. Kevin, what do I do now? Kevin, I only have 2 days worth of money available, and I don't get paid for another week. How do I start a business now? How can I quickly generate passive income? What's the best side hustle for me to do right now? Should I go start driving a semi truck? Should I become a hot shot truck driver? Should I sell my house? Should I live in my car? Should I be homeless? And honestly, I'm getting so many questions and so many ideas and requests for information. It's unreal, but I understand the times that we're in, and it makes sense. So, like I said, many Americans don't have savings. They're struggling to get by, middle class, working class, poor. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says Americans are flush with cash from stimulus checks. They don't want to go to work. And I think that if businesses and companies are listening to this and they're buying into this lie, then it's only perpetuating the negative cycle that we're in, and it's not helping the people get out of this. I think I'm not saying that this is like this. We should be moving towards a communist and socialist society, but at the same time, I think the more that the companies help the people be more, the more the companies will do and earn and make. Because honestly, at the end of the day, after a while, if you've got most of your consumers out there afraid, most of the consumers out there not making money and afraid of how to use and invest and spend their money, then ultimately they're going to hold back. They're going to keep everything they have as much as they can, and the businesses are going to suffer because the foot traffic, the shoppers, the revenues won't be there. And then you got banks on top of that are making it more difficult for people to access their money. You're lowering the confidence that people have in the banking system and the safety of their savings and their checking and their investments. So this is a very, very strange and difficult time. Now we see China. I don't know if you guys have seen China, but China is in a huge dilemma right now, and their economy is on the verge of collapsing due to some fraudulent banking activities and some some prepaid mortgages on properties that were never built, never intended to be built. A little bit of a Ponzi scheme going on with Evergrande. And honestly, on top of that, you got the zero tolerance over there, which was a huge impact to their production. And honestly, if we see like the predictions are calling for, if we see China's economy collapse, like they're saying, which is relatively a short time frame, then we're going to feel the effects over here. It won't be immediate, but as those cycles rotate, we're going to feel it over here. And that's gonna hurt a lot of people, especially those in the retail industry. So if you're in the retail industry, if you work at Target, if you work at Walmart, if you work at Costco, think about it, pretty much everything that's on the shelves for sale in the stores, and Amazon too. Pretty much all of Amazon is just Chinese, but pretty much like I would venture to say 80% of what's in the stores on the shelves that people buy day in and day out comes from China. And if it's not coming from China, a portion of whatever goes into making that product comes from China. And so basically, if China's economy collapses, their trade collapses, their production collapses, their supply chain gets shut down and wiped out, then we're going to feel it over here. Not to mention, China has so many people fleeing the country, wealthy individuals, all the way down to the poorest of individuals trying to make a better life for themselves. And that's just going to continue to hurt China's productivity, GDP, production, which means that we're going to have less and less here available to sell for businesses to operate and make money. Which, like I said, if you're in the retail industry, Target, Walmart, Costco, some of these thrift stores, maybe Big Lots, just think about it. If your business is based on consumer goods, then you should be thinking about, where is this going? What's my exit strategy? Am I safe? Do I have money saved up? Do I have another form of income? Can I afford to lose my job? Can I afford to have my hours cut and still survive and still get by and not be behind on my rent payments, behind on my mortgage payments, behind on my car payments, possibly have my vehicle repossessed, possibly be evicted, possibly have my house taken away from me and foreclosed on? And these are very, very important things that we need to be discussing and preparing for and planning for, on top of the simple fact that, the droughts that we're facing, the fertilizer prices, the issues and troubles that farmers are having all summer long, going into the fall. We're going to have a cold, hard winter. And then, we're looking at some potential food insecurities in the near future. Like, this is more than just invest in Bitcoin. This is more than just invest in gold, because it's going to come down to a point at which people are going to say, they're afraid, they're scared, they're frightened on the inside. They kind of got a smile on the outside because they don't know anything better to do. But you can't just sit there and, I'm not trying to make this like a motivational speech or anything like that. I'm just trying to help you guys understand. You can't just sit there and pray for the best. There's nothing wrong with it, but you got to have some actionable steps that you're taking in addition to that, to really be putting a plan in place and putting things in motion so that you can rebound from this. You can survive this, because we're going to see more and more. We're going to hear more and more. You may even hear it while you're at work from other people talking to you, coworkers and colleagues, and the struggles that they're facing financially, and the fears and the worries that they have. Maybe somebody actually commented the other day, they just got laid off from Target after only working there for like 3 weeks. They didn't get any hours or something like that, and then they got fired or laid off. And it's like, well, if you work there and you witness that happen, it's like, man, are we next? Am I next? Is my job safe? Like, what am I going to do if that happens? So this is a serious matter that we are facing right now. And, come on over. If you guys want to have these conversations, come on over, because we're talking about starting businesses. We're talking about managing budgets. We're talking about building wealth. We're talking about having safety plans and backup plans, and a network of a community and a network of folks that are out there willing to help one another and promote one another and connect one another, because ultimately that's a great way to survive and achieve success, is by having that network and that camaraderie and that friendship. I'm talking about real friends here. I'm not talking about fake friends. I'm talking about real friends that are out there that give a damn about everybody else and want to see each other succeed and are not upset and not hating on others' success. We don't do that. We want to see everybody succeed, because rising tides lift all ships. So, but the emails are coming in. They're coming in. Hey, how do I get started? What do I do? And they're coming in more and more. But I'm also getting the emails and the messages of, hey, I just lost my job, or hey, I don't feel safe, or hey, I don't have any money in savings. Hey, my kid needs braces. I don't have any money. This is a big one. This is a big one, and I absolutely hate it. It's a big one. I can't do anything different. I can't leave my job or whatever, or my husband can't leave his job or whatever, because we need the benefits. And that's a tough one. And that's these companies getting you and grabbing you and sinking their teeth in and holding on to you and forcing you to stay in a bad situation because they know they got you. So ultimately, we have to develop plans and strategies to increase your income, to find new and alternative ways to achieve the goals that you need without necessarily 100% relying on that employer, because insurance does and other benefits do exist outside of that, that you can get on your own privately, or depending on whatever you set up, you can set up your own health plan with the insurance providers and get discounted rates as being a small business, as being an employer. It's not very hard to do. And, people mentioned, hey, don't put money in the 401k. Stop putting money in your 401k. Just take that money and invest it yourself. Well, just a little heads up, when you put money in a 401k through your employer, one, is pre-tax. So it's more money going in now than if you were to get the money post-taxed and then invest it. So it's pre-taxed. And typically an employer is going to give you some form of match. So if it's pre-taxed and they match it, so now it's an increase, like you've already earned a return on that money you've invested from the simple fact that they matched it. And they're not going to just match your pay if you just take your pay and you're not investing in a 401k. So it's pre-tax, then you get the match, and you can manage which funds your 401k is invested in with the 401k portfolio manager. That is a thing. You can do that. So I'm not telling people, and I'm not condoning like not investing in 401k, because I think there's a little bit of misinformation out there on how 401ks work. And at the same time, the market is fluctuating. We got ups and downs in the stock market. We got huge uncertainty. Cryptocurrency is so volatile right now, and that is playing a huge part, in addition to real estate and the housing market, in the stock market, and investors' confidence and their sentiment in the market and these businesses. And they're all trying to figure out. They're all trying to decide, like, which way is this going. If you guys are paying attention, watch Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is big in real estate, and I think he's a real smart guy. And if you really pay attention and listen to what he's saying, like you gotta understand what's going on. And he's got great methods, proven, tried and true methods of 10X. And so it's possible. It can be done. I think Grant Cardone himself was actually homeless at one point, and now he's probably worth hundreds of millions of dollars. and it's possible. So, but you got to pay attention. You got to be smart, and you got to be willing to, put the effort in and put the work in, and make the moves, and probably do some things that are against the grain, probably generationally different than what your family has done in the past. Probably not in line with what your friends do or what your friends think is cool, or they're going to probably talk crap and kind of like probably like poke at you a little bit because you're trying to improve your life and try to improve your financial situation. You got to put that behind you, ignore it, don't listen to it. You know what you're trying to do. You know the situation that you're in or you have been in the past, and you don't want to be in that bad situation again. You don't want to have that feeling of being broke, that feeling of hitting overdraft, that feeling of a declined transaction on a purchase on a credit or debit card. You don't want to do that. So you gotta do what's easy when it's hard. And right now, if you are employed, it's easy. If you because what's going to happen is down the road when shit hits the fan and we see more layoffs and more people getting fired and let go and hiring freezes, that's when it's going to be hard because you're not going to have a job. So if you're saying to yourself, hey, I'm nervous, I'm frightened, I'm scared on the inside, I don't know what I'm going to do. If you're a single mother, single mom, single parent, single father, if you're already homeless now, and you have these concerns, you have these fears, you got to do something about it now before it's too late. And there's people out there that want to help. So that's all I can say. There's people out there that want to help, and you don't need to be in a situation where you're working for a minimum wage and barely getting by and can't afford food, and you can't buy school supplies for your kids, and you have no savings, you have no retirement plan whatsoever. Got to break that. And I think we're going to see more and more of these stories and these people coming out. And I'm going to share it with you guys as I come across them, because I think that it's important that we have this communication and we share what we learn and we share what we're finding out, especially in different parts of the country, as far as what's going on, what are we seeing, what are the inventory levels like, what are the prices, are people buying, are the stores full, are the stores empty? The restaurant industry, the fast food restaurant industry, I think is taking a hit, whereas maybe like the middle to higher end, higher price, like $3 sign and up restaurants are still okay because the people with money, they're still spending a little bit of money, but food is becoming so expensive. And so the food is becoming so expensive and the quality is diminishing. So the food's costing more, the quality is diminishing, the quantity is being reduced, you're getting less for your money. And, we don't really know what's in the food. So more and more people, I think, are going to start to shift to less eating out, less fast food, less restaurants, and, eating and preparing food at home. And, we're just seeing the prices rise on that. So you got to position yourself to insulate yourself from the negative effects of inflation. And, somebody commented or emailed or said something like, the companies, they're not going to allow you to make enough money to beat inflation. And that's not necessarily true. It really kind of comes down to what company you're talking about, what is your position, what is your experience level, how valuable are you to the company, how much money do you make the company? Because I know companies out there that pay employees $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year. And honestly, if you make $150,000 to $200,000 a year, you should be able to beat inflation. You really should. Because if you make $150,000 to $200,000 a year and you're saying that inflation is hurting you, then you have a serious problem with your budget. You have a serious problem with spending. And we have some things that we're going to need to discuss, because at 150 to 200, there's like, as a single income earner, if you're a married couple, whatever, dual multiple income family, and as a family you're exceeding 200, honestly, I don't like, unless you're in like New York City, maybe Miami, or maybe certain parts of California. Anywhere else in the country, you should be able to beat inflation. You should be able to live comfortably. You should be able to invest and still live a life. And if we need to go to the Dave Ramsey method and beans and rice, and that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. But there should be no reason why you are considered a high income earner, a high level of income earner at 150, 200,000 plus, and you're saying that you're barely getting by, living paycheck to paycheck. Then you have a spending problem. You need some financial discipline, and you got to get your budget in check. You got to get your shit together. But folks need to work on that. If you want to work on it, holler at me, hit me up. My info's in the description. We can talk about it. We need to do something about it. There's many other people already taking actionable steps to make these improvements, and I'm so glad that you guys are doing it. And you guys are going to be glad that you've done it down the road. And when you look back, it's going to seem like right now you're looking at the future like, oh man, this is going to take forever. It's so far away. I don't even know if it's possible. But then once you actually get there, you're going to look back and you're like, man, that didn't take very long at all. It was actually pretty quick. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. I was watching some channel. I don't remember the guy's name, but he was saying that if you tell somebody that they need to save up $1 million, they won't even try because it seems too out of reach. It seems too far-fetched. It almost seems impossible. And if you tell somebody to save $1,000, it almost seems too easy because, you could realistically earn $1,000 in a paycheck or two, depending on where you work. So that's not very hard. So the goal is to try to save $10,000. The goal is to try to save your first $10,000, and then from there, save another $10,000. And then you start making these little baby steps. You start seeing these accomplishments being achieved from your hard work and your effort, and you also start releasing some of the stress and some of the weight that you carry on your shoulders all day long and on your back that you're worried about, as you start to say, oh wow, I can do this. I have done it. I can do it. It's possible. I got money in savings. I done paid off my bills. I'm living debt free. I'm working towards living debt free. My only debt is my mortgage, and now my money's growing. I have a safety net. I have money to invest, and my investments are working for me. And I do have money stashed away in cash because cash is still king. I don't want to rely on just one. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I want diversity. I want diversity in my income. I want diversity in my investments. I want diversity in my banking. I want diversity in everything. That way, I'm not just vulnerable to one point of failure. And that's what we need to work on. So if you guys want to do that, hit me up, let me know. But I just want to share that with you guys today because, I saw this and it's making me think about all the communications that we're having and the messages that are coming through and the questions that are being asked and the people who are actually, I'm getting from, like I said, I'm not going to mention specifics. I'm not sharing people's stories, but certain people contact me and they say, hey, look, I got 300 grand. I got 400 grand. I even had one person said they had $750,000 available to them in savings and investments. They had a good job and they made good money and they were young. I think they were 30 something and they were still afraid that they weren't doing enough and that they weren't prepared for whatever's coming. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't let it stress you out all the time, 24/7. But it also means you never need to stop. You never need to give up. You need to keep trying, keep pushing, and continuously growing and progressing. And, I would say that somebody in their 30s with a high income, no debt, some investments, $750,000 in assets, more than likely liquid, easily assets that can easily be translated or transferred into cash money if need be. I would much rather be in that position than the opposite and being 30s, 40s, not making much money, minimum wage. Everything's rented, everything's leased, everything's on credit, and I can't afford anything. I can't buy food, and it's like what end of the spectrum do you want to be on? Maybe somewhere in the middle. It's like a nice little sweet spot, but at the end of the day, you got to do more than just sit back and wait and see what happens. Because honestly, I think right now, for most people, they just sit back and just wait and see what happens. They're going to realize that what happens is undesirable. And it's going to be, much like China's economy, it's going to be a total collapse for most of the middle class, most of the working class folks here in America and the United States. And it's going to be tough to recover from that. It's going to be really hard to recover from that. And, we are in a recession. Whether or not this actually gets revealed to the public eventually at some point and the lies stop being spread, we are in a recession. It's going to be a deep recession eventually. We're seeing some pullback in the housing market and real estate. And these are some telltale signs about what's going on. preparing for survival. My wife, Michelle, she showed me some real estate down here that she's been monitoring for the last 6 to 12 months. And she's like, wait, now I'm seeing the prices drop. Now I'm seeing the prices sit. And these listings, their days are adding up on the market. And people, the market is changing. The housing market bubble is deflating. I'm telling you that right now. The Fed is going to continue to raise interest rates. Inflation is not going to be affected. The mortgage companies are going to get desperate. They're going to have to drop their rates even more to get people to want to buy and invest in these times. And we're approaching the bottom. We're approaching the bottom. We got a ways to go. Some experts say it's like 18 months. So honestly, can you imagine? Are you prepared to survive for the next 18 months with the way things are right now, continuously getting worse? If you are, great. But if you're not, then we need to have a talk, because if you're not, the next 18 months are going to be a real struggle for you and your family. And I don't want to see you have to go through that. I don't want you to put yourself through that unnecessary pain. And there are ways to fight it. There are ways to do it. And I'm not just like gaslighting and blowing smoke up your butt, because the fact of the matter is that we do it. We know other people who do it. And it's possible. But you have to take the steps. You have to do it. I can't do it for you. But if you are much like, some of the folks out here that are saying, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm afraid, I'm frightened on the inside, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just gotta keep going. I don't even know what I'm doing. Let's build a path. Let's build some direction. Let's get you on a plan and an actionable strategy that'll actually help you be better prepared mentally, financially. If that means building up a huge stockpile of preps and food and things like that, that's fine. Because you got to think, for some people out there, it's like, you're worried about your paycheck. You're worried about your job. You don't have any savings. You're worried about that boyfriend that just cheated on you, that just left you. You're a single mom. You're a single parent, and you're trying to prep. You're trying to prep, but you're on your own. You don't make much money. You don't have much savings, if any at all, but you're trying to prep. You rent where you live. So even if you could prep, if you got evicted, if something happened, where are you going to move the preps? How are you going to move the preps? Like, we got to get these priorities in check. We got to get these priorities in order, because that's the only, like, you got to have a real plan. Otherwise, it's really just like a hope and a dream. But plans work. When you have a real plan, when you have a strategy, and when you actually take steps and you hold yourself accountable, those work. The dreams, it's like, a lottery ticket. It's a good chance you're not going to win. There's a chance you might, but odds are they're not in your favor. So, just sharing that with you guys. If you find any value in this whatsoever, please give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Share this video with somebody you think is going to be helpful and useful for, because that's what we're all about. We're all about people improving themselves and their situations, and just helping people in general. I'll bring you guys another update as soon as I can. You guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.